Hello everyone, this is Samuel Munoz and I'm going to be summarizing the Project Management Institute's book, which is called the PMBOK, which is short for Project Management Body of Knowledge, which is used for the Project Management certification. There is a lot of information here, so remember to take breaks. Now you can control the speed of videos here on YouTube. You can make it slower, which allows you to take notes, or you can also make it faster if you're able to absorb things faster than others outside of a normal conversational pace. Now the bottom right is a gear button. Click on that and you could change the speed, or you could click the speed and then custom, and which I don't think you can do it on a phone, but you can on PC. And then I normally will change mine to like 0.85 or 0.9. So I'm not here to speed read. I'm here to help you and to help teach. And many people, they can't absorb things if it's too fast, even including myself. So there are two books in one when you purchase the bundle. And this video's focus is on the project management's body of knowledge, which is the main book. So there is 4 chapters, aka sections, but chapter 1 is just an introduction. So moving on to chapter 2, or aka section 2, is the project performance domains. And this section identifies and describes 8 project performance domains. And that forms an integrated system to enable successful delivery of the project and intended outcomes. Now, chapter 3, aka section 3, is tailoring. And this section describes what tailoring is and presents an overview of what to tailor and how to go about tailoring individual projects. And then last, we're going into section 4, which is our models, our methods, and artifacts. And this section presents a brief description of commonly used models, methods, and artifacts. And these models, methods, and artifacts illustrate the range of options that project teams can use to produce deliverables, organize your work, and enable communication and collaboration. Now don't get lost, you're wondering. I know you're wondering what is artifacts and that is a template, document, output, or project deliverable. But let's just say in layman's terms, if you're a normal person, you could replace artifacts with just the word template. One last thing that's helpful before we get started. Multiple times you're going to see behind me, I not only list the PDF page number, but the book page number as well. But what I don't want you to, a lot of people, including myself, you're going to be wondering about navigating. If on your PDF, let's say you're using Adobe Reader, at the top left is this little button right here. And I'm not sure if you're able to see my mouse at the top left. And then under that is basically like some colons and bullet lines. You're able then at that point to see the introduction, all the chapters, and then you could skip and go directly to where you need. And that's just going to be a time saver. All right, let's get started with the fundamentals. Now the 12 principles of project management, finally. And we're going in first with stewardship. You're going to be diligent, respectful, and a caring steward. Now, diligent, what does that mean? Let's go into detail a bit more. You're showing that you're competent. Oversight of organizational finances, materials, and other resources used with the project. You're showing your competence in these things and showing you understand the appropriate use of authority, accountability, and responsibility, particularly in leadership positions. And that's what this is. This is project management, aka you're a manager, or maybe you're an assistant manager. But this is really important, I would say, for your team. It's going to keep the morale high if they see that you know what you're doing. Next is team. We're going to create a collaborative team environment. Okay, and next is stakeholders. Effectively engage with stakeholders. And you might think, well, what is stakeholders? Let's go over the keywords and definitions. Now, I will reiterate, we will discuss this later, but quickly, it's an individual group, a group, or an organization that may affect, be affected by, or perceive itself to be affected by a decision, activity, or outcome of a project, program, or portfolio. Okay, so be affected by. So let's take a look. So we have the US government, right? And let's say that you're running a project with US aid. There's different parties involved in that. Outside of that, in the normal day-to-day world, let's take a look at a mortgage loan officer, a mortgage loan originator, a banker, right? And they're working in this hypothetical with a buyer's agent, okay? A real estate agent, the buyer side. Well, a lot of times they don't communicate with somebody who is being affected, which is the selling agent. Because that mortgage loan officer has his client, which is the buyer, and he's also working with the buyer's agent. But it's really important if he's communicating with all the stakeholders. And the stakeholders would be the selling agent, aka the listing agent of the sellers of that place, the selling real estate agent. So this is really important for referral business, everybody being happy. It's really, really, really important. Now it ends with a project, program, or portfolio. And you think, well, Samuel, what is another keyword? What is portfolio? What is it talking about? Well, portfolios are operations that are managed. It's a project, a program, or operation managed as a group to achieve a strategic objective. So that's what it is. It's basically a project managed as a group to achieve a strategic objective. All right, guys, so moving on to the next three, value. We're going to focus on value and delivering value to the organization and the customers. In addition, system thinking, recognize, evaluate, and respond to system interactions. Don't worry, we're going back to these, but you still want to memorize them. Recognize, evaluate, and respond to system interactions. And then leadership, demonstrate leadership behaviors. We also have, remember, there's 12. We're tailoring based on content or context and quality. We're going to build quality into processes and deliverables. And this could help prevent problems in the future or just problems in general. And complexity. We're going to navigate the complexity. There's a lot of moving parts. And then risk. Optimize our risk responses. We're going to embrace adaptability and resilience. And then change. Enable change to achieve the envisioned future. All right, guys, there are 3 sections to the project management body of knowledge. And we kind of went over this earlier when we talked about the different chapters, chapter 2, 3, and 4. Well, chapter 2 is the project performance domains. Chapter 3, tailoring. And then chapter 4, models, methods, and artifacts. Okay, quick quiz. What did I say was the definition of artifacts? And what is an alternative word that you could use that's more commonly used? All right, it's templates. I hope you got that right. Okay, so in section 1, in chapter, well, I guess not section 1, in chapter 2 is the project performance and domains. We have chapter 2.1. It starts off with, we have stakeholders. Okay, and stakeholders will need to be interacting with the team. That leads to what? Team. The project team, chapter 2.2, which leads to development approach and life cycle. So how we're actually going about doing our project. Chapter 2.4, planning. The planning of our project. Delivery. Delivering what we said we're going to deliver. A lot of times not everything is done correctly, and people aren't happy. Measurement. Measuring everything throughout and even at the end to make sure that we're still on track. And this actually real quick, measuring this actually is very important because this actually goes all the way back to our not our stewardship. What's the word? Where we're communicating with everybody. Um, our oh yeah, effectively engaging with stakeholders. That goes back to our stakeholders at the beginning that we went over. Measuring lets us know how we're on track and then updating. Are you sending your emails, making your phone calls, letting all your stakeholders know what's going on? And then lastly is uncertainty and risk and managing that throughout our project.